Right now, Daniel Dubois is the best heavyweight in the world, including Usyk.
Including Usyk?
I genuinely think that Usyk bamboozled him and caused him trouble and everything else. It'll be interesting to see, because Usyk's just spoken recently. He said, I've only got another couple of fights in me. I wonder will one of them be against... will he be against Dubois? Now, if Dubois...
Well, he said it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He has said that he will take the winner of the Dubois-Parker fight.
Did he?
Dan Charles just exposed the chaos behind Dewey's shocking exit from the Parker fight, and it smells like pure fear. Stan Dubois wasn't just worried, he was panicking, dragging Charles upstairs like there was an emergency. He claimed Daniel was falling apart, but here's where it gets suspicious. Dewey couldn't even explain what was wrong, just kept saying he didn't feel well. Then, suddenly, Frank Warren rushes in with a doctor to back up the excuse. This wasn't about sickness, it was about saving himself. Dubois saw the storm Parker was bringing and ran before it hit. He didn't just dodge a fight, he dodged disaster. But by running, he signed up for an even worse nightmare. Usyk isn't Parker, he's a master in the ring. When Dubois steps in, he won't just lose, he'll be taken apart. No more running now. Interview 2. John.
But Usyk's good at doing that and making people burn more energy than they want to. But yeah, Daniel could do it. You know, he had success in the first fight at times, and I think that confidence might help him get through like the rough patches. But Usyk is a master in the end. His mind's very, very good. But Daniel could definitely do it. But I wouldn't. You know, my pick would always be Usyk.
Behind Bo's shocking exit from the Parker fight, and it reeks of fear. Saint Dubois wasn't just worried, he was panicking, dragging Charles upstairs like it was an emergency. He claimed Daniel was falling apart, but here's where it gets suspicious. Bo couldn't even explain what was wrong, just kept saying he wasn't feeling well. Then suddenly, Frank Warren rushes in with a doctor to approve the excuse. This wasn't about sickness, it was about survival. Bo saw the storm Parker was bringing and ran before the damage could start. He didn't just dodge a fight, he dodged disaster. But by running, he set himself up for an even worse nightmare. Usyk isn't Parker, he's a master in the ring. When Dubois steps in, he won't just lose, he'll be taken apart. No more running now. Interview 3. Don Charles recently shared his thoughts on Joseph Parker's media workout, and let's just say, he wasn't impressed.
Oleksandr Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. Now, this is the interesting one. Daniel Dubois was meant to fight Joseph Parker 2 weeks ago, but he pulled out due to an illness. And all of a sudden, there's rambling, there's words going around, rumors going around that they already signed a deal. That fight is going to take place likely in June at Wembley Stadium.
Now, to Charles, Dubois was in top shape and had the perfect style to dominate Parker. They didn't avoid Parker out of fear. They chose him because they saw it as an easy fight. Charles made it clear that Dubois was ready for battle, while Parker's workout didn't even faze him. This raises a big question. Was Parker lucky to avoid Dubois? Or was it all part of the plan? The tension is only growing for what happens next. Interview 4. Meanwhile, Nick Campbell isn't holding back when talking about the heavyweight division. He's all in on Usyk, but let's talk about Dubois. Campbell is almost certain that if Dubois ever faces Usyk, it'll be a harsh reality check. His attempts to grab the spotlight, especially after a string of weak performances, make Campbell question if he's really ready for top-level fighters. Let's be honest, Dubois crumbled against Joyce and Barry.
But now that you're better, all of a sudden, he wants Usyk. I don't believe he really wanted to fight Joseph Parker in the first place. I think when he beat AJ, it was in his mind already that he wanted Usyk. I don't want that banana peel fight. I might fight somebody and lose, and then I don't get the Usyk fight. And pretty much, this is pussy. This is a bitch-made move. I don't give a fuck. Like I told you guys.
Him a real threat to Usyk? That's ridiculous. Usyk is on a completely different level, and Campbell has no patience for those who think Dubois can compete with the best. Sure, Dubois has power, but against a strategist like Usyk, that means nothing. If they do fight, Campbell predicts a one-sided beatdown. where Usyk shows just how out of his league Dubois really is.
Spoke to Frank Warren this week. It looks like we may get Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. We've got a couple of minutes left. This June, potentially at a big stadium.
It's the one.
It's a big fight.
It's the one.
Joseph Parker's hovering there for me as well to fight the winner.
Yeah, listen, Parker deserves to fight the winner, but obviously he should have had the Dubois fight. Didn't happen for whatever the reason. Dubois was ill. Now he's back in the game. But Dubois and Usyk has to be the number one heavyweight title fight.
Dubois is now expected to chase a rematch with Oleksandr Usyk, who holds the WBA, WBC, WBO and Ring World Heavyweight titles. Dubois' dad, Stan Dubois, briefly spoke to the Ring about his son's future plans and what caused him to pull out of his scheduled fight last week with Joseph Parker. He said, "Next we want Usyk. It's frustrating about the Parker fight, but he couldn't fight with an infection. Usyk is who we're going after next."
On the other hand, Daniel Dubois' father, Stu Dubois, recently spoke to the Ring about his son's future and the frustration over his withdrawal from the highly anticipated fight against Joseph Parker due to a viral infection. While missing the Parker fight was disappointing, Stu made it clear that the focus is now completely on Usyk. The heavyweight division is on edge as Dubois sets his sights on a potential showdown with Usyk, one that could shake up the entire division. Boxing. Fans are eager to see if Dubois can make a comeback and get revenge for his previous loss, with Usyk holding the undisputed heavyweight title. This fight has all the makings of a career-defining moment for Dubois and a major turning point for the division. Can he rise to the challenge and finally take down the dominant Usyk, or will the heavyweight king continue his reign? The stakes have never been higher.
Why should it be Dubois or Usyk? Why don't they step up and let him fight? But listen, I don't pay the money. It's not my, it's what if they want that. But I don't like that. I think it's wrong. I think Joe should be given his. He'll get a fight. He'll get a fight.
Meanwhile, Spencer Brown couldn't hide his frustration. Fully aware of the politics at play, he made it clear. While Parker has more than earned his shot, some in the boxing world are deliberately keeping him from the fight he deserves. Brown's words echo what everyone is thinking. Why are the so-called top fighters avoiding real competition? Why is Parker being pushed aside after proving himself in brutal fashion? He pointed out a harsh truth. He's not the one making the financial decisions, but this situation is all about politics, and it stinks. On the other hand, Brown is sure that Parker's big opportunity will come. It has to happen sooner or later. The real question is, will the sport finally do the right thing? Or will corrupt decision-makers once again rob a deserving fighter of his moment? Fans are watching closely, and the stakes have never been higher.
Yeah, I think with Daniel, it's confidence now, and I think it's a mindset thing. He's got a great chin, Daniel. But yeah, that first, it was almost like a tiredness why he got stopped in the first fight, so it expended a lot of energy. But Usyk's good at doing that and making people burn more energy than they want to. But yeah, Daniel could do it. You know, he had success in the first fight.
Chris Billum Smith doesn't hold back when talking about Daniel Dubois' chances in the rematch with Usyk. He believes it all comes down to Dubois' mindset. His confidence has grown, and that could be the game changer. Billum Smith praises Dubois' rock-solid chin, saying it's exactly what he'll need against a fighter like Usyk. Looking back at the first fight, it was clear that Dubois used up too much energy early on, which led to his stoppage. But let's not forget, Usyk is a master at making his opponents burn out, draining their stamina until they lose focus. Still, Billum Smith believes in Dubois' potential. He says that with a smarter game plan and better pacing, Dubois could defy the odds and show that Usyk isn't unbeatable. The real question is, can Dubois adapt and turn the fight around? Or will Usyk prove once again that he's simply on another level?
Usyk is a master in the end. His mind's very, very good. But Daniel could definitely do it. But I wouldn't, you know, my pick would always be Usyk.
Who does it? How does he do it?
Just in terms of, he'd have to just stick it on him, and that's always the game plan with Usyk, is try and use your size. But Daniel's good at, you know, his body shots were good in the first fight. Usyk really doesn't like body.
Chris Billum Smith doesn't hesitate to praise Usyk's brilliance in the ring, calling his mind razor sharp and his tactics nearly flawless. However, despite Usyk's undeniable skills, Billum Smith isn't counting out Daniel Dubois just yet. While he personally leans toward Usyk, he believes there's still a way for Dubois to pull off the upset. For Dubois to win, he'll need to keep relentless pressure on Usyk, never giving him a moment to breathe. Usyk thrives on using his technique and movement to control the pace, but there's one clear weakness: his vulnerability to body shots. In their first fight, Usyk showed signs of discomfort when Dubois attacked that area, and Billum Smith believes that's the key to breaking Usyk's dominance. If Dubois can land powerful shots to the body and keep up the pressure, it could throw Usyk off his game. The big question is, will Dubois' aggression be enough to take down the master, or will Usyk once again prove why he's untouchable?
Why should it be Dubois or Usyk? Why don't they step up and let him fight? But listen, I don't pay the money. It's not my, it's what if they want that. But I don't like that. I think it's wrong. I think Joe should be given he'll get a fight.
Meanwhile, Spencer Brown couldn't hide his frustration, and it's easy to see why. He knows the politics happening behind the scenes, and he's not happy about it. Instead of giving Joseph Parker the title shot he has clearly earned, some in the boxing world are pushing their own agendas, keeping real challenges out of reach. The big question everyone's asking is, why? Why aren't the so-called top fighters stepping up to face Parker? Why is he being ignored after proving himself in such dominant fashion? Brown isn't the one making the financial decisions, but he's not afraid to speak the truth. This is all about politics, and it stinks. Parker has done everything needed to fight the best, yet behind-the-scenes deals keep blocking his path. Still, Brown is confident Parker's next big fight is coming soon. But will the sport finally do the right thing? Or will corrupt decision-makers once again rob Parker of the opportunity he truly deserves?